creating an appearance like this is really just as simple as creating a fill, creating a couple of strokes, and setting the position of each of those strokes so that they're side by side instead of on top of each other. And then from there, adding a drop shadow. So we're going to get into how to actually achieve this type of look, starting with just type tool, writing out a word. In this case, I'm using a font called Clobber and Time Crunchy. Comes from Adobe Fonts, of course. Gonna duplicate that font because I do want to outline it. This is not going to work so well on live text, so I will create outlines. Then you can see when we go to outline view, we've got shapes there in the form of those letters. From there, I can right click on these and ungroup them, and then with them ungrouped, I can do the step of offsetting them and putting them into whatever position I would like. From there, I'm going to apply the gradient to one of these objects. Now this gradient, I've got it broken apart down here. It has a fill that goes from orange to yellow. It has a stroke as well that also has a gradient on it that's sort of the opposite of the fill. So when you combine them together, where the fill is sort of orange, the stroke is more yellow, and where the fill is more yellow, the stroke is more orange, so that you can see them when you look at the letters and you really zoom in on them. They have that stroke visible the entire time, even over the fill area where they're very similar colors. And then zooming out, that gives it sort of a little glint, metallic kind of look to it, which is sort of just a nice subtle kind of coloration effect on there. So taking this shape, I can just use eyedropper. I've already got the gradient right down below there that I want to use. Now I do want to actually take this gradient, and I'm going to go into fill here, and I want to rotate the gradient because I actually want the lighter yellow part to be on the bottom. So I'm going to say rotate that -90 degrees. From here, in the original gradient, it was going left to right, dark, orange to yellow. I want it to go top to bottom, orange to yellow, or bottom to top, yellow to orange, essentially. So that's the look. Now from there, what I would need to do is add a second stroke. So we have a black stroke on this as well. So I select this object from within appearance. I click on add new stroke, and here I'm going to click and just make this a black stroke, and we'll just leave it 1 point. When we zoom in and look at these together, you'll see the black stroke is just sitting right on top of the other one. So I do need to go in, select the object first, then go in and click on stroke, and then set that alignment so that this stroke is on the outside of the other one. And now you can see both of them instead of on top of each other, they are side by side. Now I could go through from here and just apply. I would have to do the same thing for each of these shapes, but I'm going to use something that we're going to talk about later in this series, which is just called a graphic style. I've saved the look of what this looks like already, so I can go into graphic styles and then just apply that to all my other strokes. It makes it much easier. But until you get to that point, you'd sort of have to go through it one by one, unfortunately. From there, though, once I have them all looking the way that I want, I'm going to do group them again. And now in my layers, you can see I have this group selected right here, toggling on and off the visibility of it. That's it. And then I'm actually going to take the whole group and select it from within layers, just clicking the little bubble there. And then I'm going to change the appearance of the entire group now. Now each of the contents of the groups, each of these letter shapes, has their own appearance that we just talked about. But the group itself does not currently have an appearance, and it could be more or less opaque. It could have, different effects and things done to it. I'm going to click right here on effects, and I'm going to go down to stylize and click on drop shadow. And then from there, pretty much just leaving this as it is in its default settings. In this case, click OK, and you've got that drop shadow effect. All I did for the rest of this was use rounded rectangle, or I could just use a regular rectangle potentially. Click, drag out a shape, make sure that that shape is in my layers underneath the group that I created. Oops, I got to select the right one. It's up here on top, move it down below. And then to give it this little rounded look, I can just use live corners and drag the little bubble there, and that's it. Very easy and striking effect for making a sticker or something. Would be really nice.